I wore a yellow shirt for this video and it also says honey on it because I think Hufflepuffs are sweet. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I'm coming to you with the next video in my Hogwarts house book recommendation series, and today I'm going to be recommending some Hufflepuff books. I have two other videos in this series already. I have one for Gryffindor and one for Slytherin, so if you'd like to go see either of those two houses, if they're your houses and you want to watch them, I'll leave them linked on the screen as well as down below so you can go and check them out. But I will also have my Ravenclaw video up very soon as well, so all of the houses will soon be complete. But essentially what I do in these videos is just take some books that I think really exhibit the traits of each of these houses. For instance, with Hufflepuff, the main traits are patience, loyalty, friendship, hard work, and dedication, and so all of the books that I've picked I think really exhibit a lot of these traits. So without any further ado, today we're going to get into the 5 Hufflepuff recommendations that I have. The first Hufflepuff book I have on my list is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Carry On is a fantasy novel that is kind of like a companion to the novel Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Essentially, in Fangirl, the main character writes fanfiction based on these two characters named Simon and Baz, and this book is basically the story of Simon and Baz. This book is essentially a satire of the chosen one trope, and we follow a character named Simon Snow, who is a chosen hero who doesn't want to be the chosen hero, who has to fight off some magical evil thing while he goes to a school for magical witches and wizards. So it's essentially just like Harry Potter, which is pretty much what it's supposed to be because, like I said, it's supposed to be a satire of that chosen one hero trope. This book is absolutely hysterical and it's heartbreaking and it's just so entertaining and so much fun, and I absolutely adore it. Simon and Baz's relationship is just a joy to read about. It's so well written and it's just so much fun. But the reason I put this book on this list is because to me, Carry On is what Harry Potter would have been had Harry been a Hufflepuff. Or really, if you think about it, had Neville been the chosen hero. Even though Neville is a Gryffindor and not a Hufflepuff, I think he has a lot of Hufflepuff traits, and I think that a lot of this story just comes down to loyalty. There's Baz's loyalty to his mother and the complex feelings he has towards that, and then there's also Simon's loyalty to being this chosen hero, even though he's kind of conflicted about his place in it. There's just this warmth that I feel when I read this book, and it's just so pure and good, and those are all things that just remind me of Hufflepuff because of the loyalty that they have to each other and to their friendships and how much they value that. So those are all the reasons that I think this is a perfect Hufflepuff book. The next book on my list is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. Now this book, honestly, I'm partially including it on this list because it's kind of a scavenger hunt through time, so it's about finding things, and I just think of Hufflepuff when I think of finding things, but I do have more justifiable reasons as well. Essentially, this book follows our main character named Etta, who finds out that she can actually time travel, and she's part of this entire other group of people who have this ability to time travel, and she ends up accidentally time traveling back into the 1700s, I believe, and she has to find her way back to her time while also trying to find this item lost somewhere in time. But I really enjoyed this book. It was just such a fun read for me, and I really enjoyed the time travel aspect of it. But apart from the fact that it's about finding things, I think that this book is also a perfect Hufflepuff book because our main character, Etta, I would definitely classify as a Hufflepuff. She's a very loyal and fierce friend. She's very hardworking and determined. She finds out this secret about her life, and while she could just become upset and angry at her mother for lying to her about it, she doesn't do that. She ends up just putting all of her feelings into working hard towards finding her mother and finding out what's actually going on. She's fierce and loyal and kind-hearted, and I really enjoy her as a main character. And I feel like there aren't very many Hufflepuff main characters that we get to see in a lot of YA, especially YA fantasy. They tend to be more like Gryffindor and Slytherin oriented, but I would definitely say that Etta is a Hufflepuff, and I think that if you're looking for a Hufflepuff protagonist to read about, she's definitely a fantastic one. The next book on my list is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Sands. This is one of my all-time favorite books. I've talked about it countless times on my channel, but if for whatever reason you don't know, it follows the story of these two boys named Aristotle and Dante who live in El Paso, Texas in the 80s. And the story follows their relationship, but mostly it follows Aristotle's own character development and growth with his family and with his relationship with Dante. It's about family and sexuality and discovering remembering who you are as a person, and everything about it is just so pure and good. To me, this book kind of defines Hufflepuff. Like, if there was just one book that I had to pick as a Hufflepuff book, it would probably be this one. The values of this book just align with the values of Hufflepuff in my mind. It teaches patience, it teaches inclusivity, it teaches kindness and love, and it just is so good, and it fits in so perfectly in my mind. Also, Dante is 100% a Hufflepuff. You cannot convince me otherwise. He's just so kind and loyal and patient, and Ari also is just a fierce and loyal friend. All of the family members are kind and patient, and all of them, just like everything about this book, is everything that's Hufflepuff. It's also about finding who you are as a person, so like finding things, finding who you are. Like, do you see where I'm going with this? But just overall, this book is absolutely fantastic, and I never can recommend it enough because it's just that good. But definitely, if you're a Hufflepuff and you're looking for something new to read and you haven't picked this one up yet, I definitely think that you will enjoy it. The next book on my list is Nora and Petal by Lauren Nicole Taylor. This is a YA historical fiction novel that is loosely based off of Peter Pan, and I definitely say loosely because it just has some of the same similar themes. It's not like an actual retelling, but it's set in 1953 in the US post-Japanese internment, and we follow the story of this white girl named Nora and this Japanese-American boy named Petal. They each have very difficult and complicated lives. Nora lives with her abusive father, and Petal is homeless and lives on the streets after escaping the internment camps. It's a much heavier story than some of the other ones I've recommended on this list, but it's also extremely hopeful and heartwarming. But the reason that I think that this is really a Hufflepuff book is because of the messages that it teaches about patience and about inclusivity, both of which again are traits that Hufflepuff House also really values. But since it is set in a time of a lot of racial conflict, the story is really about accepting people for who they are regardless of how they look or where they come from. And eventually you get to see Nora and Petal's stories converge when they meet, and we get to see their relationship develop as well, and both of them are just extremely loyal characters to one another as well as to their families. And once again, we have another story that's symbolically about finding something, and in this case it's about finding a home and finding where you belong. So for all of those reasons, I think it perfectly aligns with the traits of Hufflepuff, and I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's vastly underrated and deserves much more love. And lastly on my list of Hufflepuff book recommendations, I have a comic series to recommend to you all, and that is none other than the Avatar: The Last Airbender comics. This also includes technically the TV series because you do have to watch that before you can read these, but I had to include Avatar somewhere in one of the houses, and to me, it aligns perfectly with Hufflepuff. Avatar is truly, when you come down to the core of it, a story about kindness and acceptance. It's about these different groups of people putting aside their differences and coming together as one. And everything about that is exactly what Hufflepuff values. Hufflepuff is the least competitive of all of the houses, it's the most inclusive of all of the houses, so I definitely think that this would fit in really well there. Also, of course, I think Aang is basically the epitome of a Hufflepuff. He's like the kindest, most pure cinnamon roll you will ever meet, but also you definitely have the themes of dedication and hard work and loyalty as exhibited through the other characters, as well as in all of the themes and just the plot in general. So if for whatever reason you have yet to give Avatar: The Last Airbender a chance, I would highly, highly recommend it. As you all know, it's like my favorite TV series of all time, and especially if you're a Hufflepuff or you just really like the values of Hufflepuff House, this one will be right up your alley. Alright guys, so that is it for my list of Hufflepuff book recommendations. Let me know in the comments down below if you agreed with any of the recommendations that I had in this video, or if there are any other books that you would also include on this list. Like I said, I will also be having a Ravenclaw video up very soon as well, so not to worry for all you Ravenclaws, I have not left you out, I promise. If you would like to follow me on any of my social media, all of my links are in the description box as always, but thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!